What's up, everybody? My name is Slimo. And look, if you don't love the NBA playoffs, in fact, if you don't love basketball at all, take one day, just watch one match, and you surely enjoy it. Now, we love when there are close games, but if it's involving your team, Charlie, you know go like be there. Now, yesterday around 10 p.m., 11 p.m., I'm telling you, if you watch a Celtics and Sixers game, you surely be at the edge of your seats. And I've got two people here who they were falling off their seats because Charlie, the Celtics, the Sixers game is serious. Now I've got Teddy and then Felix, both Celtics fans who had to go through that grueling loss to the Sixers at the Wells Fargo Center. We had to go to overtime to separate both teams, where it was only 1 point separating both teams. Sixers won game 4, where we'll be going back to game 5, the TD Garden. Now, Teddy, what do you think happened for the Sixers? Because it felt like you guys were down by about 16 points at some point in time. Celtics went on a run, and it felt like you guys had turned things around. But all of a sudden, Sixers with the victory.
You see, during the first 2 minutes or 3 minutes, Jaylen Brown had a foul problem. He had 2 fouls, and that was one thing because we needed Jaylen Brown to defend Harden throughout the game. And with a foul problem, you can't go hard on Harden, and that was one problem. And in game 1, I said something that they were using a style that Atlanta was using. You see, they screen, so off the screen.
Yeah.
They get
hunting the
matchups, yes, for the bigs. And then that was the problem. And I think Mazzulla tried for the next 2 games, but in this game, they used the same thing. And that really went very wrong for us. And the third one is Jason Tatum catching fire late in the game. We know Jason Tatum is an amazing player, he's a phenomenal player. But then, even though he wasn't giving us the offense, he was giving us defense because he had almost 5 blocks the whole game. But then, Tatum has to catch fire early in the game because this game, if he caught fire early,
you people say you would have light skin Kobe. Light skin Kobe do that.
Light skin Kobe, no. I told you, Charlie, catch fire early. That'd be your Charlie.
That'd be your main problem. Charlie. Now, regarding that problem where you were saying that the Sixers like to hunt the matchups for the bigs, and then you were saying in those 2 games they didn't do that, and then yesterday they did that. Now I feel like it's because maybe Harden wasn't aggressive enough, like he did in game 1 where he scored 45 points. So I kind of understand where you're coming from. Now Felix, there's been a problem with the Celtics saying, the Celtics fans, someone like Jaylen Brown is the better player, and then he should be handling the ball late in the 4th. And with game 4, I read somewhere that Jaylen Brown had only about 4 touches. So Mazzulla didn't really run plays for him. What do you think about that?
I think Jaylen Brown has been phenomenal in this playoffs. I think he needs to, he has to be given more opportunities to run the floor in the 4th quarter. But the thing is, facts speaks, like data speaks. And Tatum in the playoffs last year, since he came to the league in his playoffs, even in this playoffs, this postseason games, Tatum has been phenomenal, especially in the 4th. But I think that it's just this second round of the playoffs that I think he's having a bit difficulty in there. But Tatum has good handles than Brown does. If you guys remember clearly, in the last year playoffs and in the finals, Jaylen Brown cost us a lot in the 4th quarter, especially in the games with Golden State Warriors. He had a lot of turnovers, which led to our loss.
So, but a lot of people blame JT because he's like the franchise player.
Well, I mean, he is the face of and he's supposed to be our go-to scorer.
He's expected to do it.
But the thing is, when you're being doubled all the time, you have to learn to make plays for people. Yeah. And Jaylen Brown is not one who has good handles. Tatum has good handles. He has good control of the ball, but Brown, not too much. But I think this season he has improved and he's doing so well.
You see, another problem I have with Tatum that he's saying, you see, you have good handles, like he's saying. But then when you get into the paint and you can't score, because I think Tatum had this kind of fear when he gets to the rim. When you get there...
of course, there's a shot blocker.
Oh, yes. Now when you draw because you are chasing Tatum, people will chase you. Just pass to the... No,
if you look at game 3, when Tatum started the game, he started aggressively.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he started going to the paint. He started dribbling and going to the paint. Yeah. But in game 4, just like he did in game 2 and game 1, he wanted to shoot. He wanted to take perimeter shots and not dribble to the paint. Yeah. But in this, I've noticed that in this postseason, he's having a very hard time, trying to shoot the balls.
It's just so nice to see the Celtics fans rant because every day they go can't sit here and they go find now. See on this left side. We go see now. Moving on to the West, where things are getting interesting. You know what? The playoffs are so unpredictable, and it felt like the Warriors were going to do more damage. Now we went back to earlier. A lot of the Lakers fans had confidence in the team, and it was another blowout victory for the Lakers. Wow, back-to-back blowout win. So at the Crypto Arena, we saw Lakers win in a blowout game, and then before that at the Chase Center, the Warriors did same too. Now Teddy, Lakers versus Warriors game three. Game three was so interesting that we said AD has to be big, and he was big this time
Yeah.
around.
You see, for a team like Warriors, you base your game on shooting. And then in this game, you shot 13 threes, you made 13 threes, and then Lakers made 15. That's a problem. For a team that scores outside the paint, you have to make more threes than a Lakers team that scores in the paint. So that was one of the problems. And you see, AD wasn't big in the previous games.
Yeah, in game two.
And then now he was big. And then you see, Jermichael Green, he caught 0 rebounds. 0 rebounds.
And then before that, the last time we were here, you made reference that he had already cut out about 2 rebounds.
2 rebounds.
This time around, it was
zero,
even less.
0 rebounds. And you see, because AD was a problem for him, now he didn't know what to do. And I think that adjustment Steve Kerr made has bounced back onto him. Like it's now a problem because now AD is now in his shift. He's in a good game shift now. But I think maybe in the next game, he'll go back to being door. That's AD.
Now, Felix, LeBron James was big once again. It felt like in the series at the chase, LeBron was passive a bit, but I was very, very impressed with the 38-year-old defending. Like he put hustle on the floor, energy, effort. Is that one thing you can't question about LeBron James' 20-year career in the league, and he's still doing that?
You can't question LeBron James' commitment, especially in the playoffs. You know that when it comes to the playoffs, he's going to go all in. But just like Teddy said, I think the Warriors, the adjustment Steve Kerr did wasn't good at all. He played small ball.
Yeah.
But for Jermichael Green, he had restrictions. He played for just 11 minutes, and Kevin Looney didn't start.
Yeah.
Let's get this fact straight. Kevin Looney is one of the best rebounders in the league. I mean, he's been slept on and all that.
He made history in that Kings series.
From Capella and all.
You know, he's a good rebounder, and he also started from the bench. He played for like just 23 minutes, and Draymond Green also had restrictions. He played for less than 30 minutes. He played for like 25 minutes. So Steve Kerr wanted to surround the boys with just shooters. He just wanted to shoot, but he didn't put people in there to rebound the ball. And we all know Anthony Davis. He's an elite rebounder. And LeBron James now, I think when they notice that they have a good chance now in the playoffs, now he's going to be dominant. And that's what we saw. A dominant LeBron James.
Now, I've seen the Warriors fans drag one player, Charlie Jordan Poole. They really did in top. Last year, he was one of the factors why the Warriors won everything. And it seems like it's not really going well for him. He's not being able to shoot well. And we know he's got problems defensively. So I think Jordan Poole has to really do well for these Warriors to be able to make it to the next round. Now, speaking of adjustments, I must say, I got into it with a fan on Twitter. He was like, Steve Kerr doesn't run too many pick and rolls for Stephen Curry. And I kind of agree with him, because when you do that for Steph, he usually makes the opponent pay. But it seems like he's not running that a lot. So maybe a little bit more pick and rolls for Steph, and then we'll see the Warriors win more games. Now, still on that series, the Warriors fans are complaining that the Lakers, the referees are favoring the Lakers because they give them too many free throw attempts. If Osiris drives small or they call foul, if AD drives small or they call foul, and the Lakers are also making their free throws steady. Do you think that's the case? That is why the Lakers are winning more games.
You see, with the start of basketball, the history of basketball started with scoring in the paint. And then now a new generation came, that is Steph Curry, the Splash Brothers, and then they changed the narrative. Now, every generation of basketball players coming in, they want to shoot from three.
Yeah.
And then now, that's every coach is now adjusting. Even Popovich is even adjusting into it. And that's what everyone is doing. But then, if you are a team that is shooting threes more, you won't get fouls. That is, you won't go to the free throw line more. And then Lakers is a team that is scoring from the paint. Every point they make is inside the arc. And with their coach, Darvin Ham, coming from the Bucks team, that is their style. They have bigs like Lopez, they have Giannis and
Portis.
Yes, so they are always scoring in the paint. So that is a style. So I don't blame most teams complain. You don't have score in the paint if you think you want more free throws. Score in the paint. This one is not even a problem.
Felix, there's an interesting statistic where the Lakers have had 213 free throw attempts compared to their opponents 160. And when I say opponents, I mean both the Grizzlies and the Warriors combined. The difference is huge. But they interviewed Steve Kerr yesterday, and he was like, he doesn't really blame the loss on the free throws. What do you think?
I think the free throws made a huge difference. But it goes back to what we spoke about. because I said that the Warriors went very small.
Yeah.
And you know that when Anthony Davis is reaching, you have to have a big guy, a big center who
be
can
able to
defend the ball.
contest.
At the same time, to LeBron James, he's a good finisher. He has proven that he's a good finisher at the rim. So you need an elite defender who can also contest shots. So with the adjustments Steve Kerr did, it didn't benefit the Warriors at all. And when you go back to Dennis Schroeder, let's not forget that Schroeder played with Chris Paul.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul is a big player. He knows how to commit players, to take fouls and all that. And Austin Reeves is also learning.
Yeah.
So these are people who are understudying LeBron James and people who have also understudied Chris Paul. So they have that elite mentality, going into this game. And Hachimura is also doing so well, and he's a power forward. So if you don't have players who can guard, who can guard players who are contesting shots, that's what the problem.
Well, there's a big problem for the Warriors, and they'll have to solve it fast if they want to make it to the next round of the series. Now, moving to another series where it was tied at the Madison Square Garden. The New York Knicks, they were hyped about this, but back to Miami, Jimmy Butler stepped up once again. He was injured in game 2 where the Knicks were able to get the victory. But when they go back to Miami, when they went to Miami, Jimmy Butler, and I'm so impressed with Bam Adebayo's performance. We've been on him saying he hasn't really been there in this playoffs, but he's really, really done well in game 3. Now, an interesting stat. For the starters of the New York Knicks, RJ Barrett was a minus 32. Randall -6, Mitchell Robinson -4, Josh Hart -6, Jalen Brunson of all people, the best player on the team, was a -6 for them. It felt like the New York Knicks starters were just nowhere to be found.
You see, one of their problems this season is rebounding. In this game, Robinson made 5 rebounds and then Bam made 12. That's big. That's so big. And then you see with Barrett is a 3rd pick first round player, and then Randall is a 7th pick first round player. These are players who have the potential to carry a team. And I don't know why. It's like anytime they have to show up, that is Randall and Barrett, they don't show up. And then Brunson, who actually took them from wherever they came from into this
Give them
series,
a better chance.
yes, it's even struggling. So the problem now is, can Barrett and Randall take charge of the game? Because now, without Oladipo, without Tyler Hero, Heat is actually cooking. They are cooking. And then I think the Knicks can come back from this loss and actually take charge of this series if only Barrett and Randall take charge of the series.
Well, Felix, let me know your thoughts on the next Heat series.
So in game one and game 2, Robinson was big.
Yeah.
He was so big. But I think they found a way to silence him, especially on the rebounds. And we know that Bam Adebayo is an elite defender.
Yeah.
He can guard multiple positions from 1 to 5.
Yeah.
And again, to how the Knicks plays, they run on transitions. And in the game 4, we noticed that they went for 13 turnovers. And the Heat also went for 13 turnovers. But the only difference is the Heat, like they were able to like take advantage,
capitalize on those turnovers
these
of the
things,
Knicks.
and then Knicks couldn't, because Bam Adebayo and Butler were big, in this game.
Yeah.
So I think it just goes back to like taking the opportunities they had and like making use of it.
Well, Felix did make mention of Bam Adebayo, who's considered to be one of the best defensive players in the league. Now, moving to that question, during this postseason, we've already seen the first round, we've seen a bit of the second round as well. Now, Felix, starting from you, who would you say is the best defender in the league for the postseason so far?
So I'm going with 2 players. I'm going to go with Draymond Green, and I'm going to go with Kevin Looney.
Wow.
Yeah.
Both from the Warriors.
Both from the Warriors.
Hey.
Wow.
Yeah, because
Charlie,
I'm shocked.
we know from
I'm
the comment
shocked.
section side.
I'm surprised.
This is very, very
I'm
big
surprised.
surprise.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm going to go with both of them. I'm going to go with Kevin Looney because of his big rebounds.
Okay.
He has been very efficient for the Warriors. And I'm going to go with Draymond Green because in game 3, when Draymond Green sat out, we noticed how it was.
Yeah.
We noticed how, his presence, we noticed how his presence, when he wasn't in the team. But when he came on, we noticed how he silenced Sabonis. And he took out Fox. He took out Mr. Clutch in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
He took him out entirely. He limited his shots. He blocked shots. And even in the Warriors game, in game 2, we noticed how he defended well. He's very important to the team. So when you take Draymond Green out, I think I'm going to go with Kevin Looney. I don't see. I'm serious. I think Looney is being slept on. It's
been long. It's been long.
And I'm not even a Warriors fan. I'm not even a Looney fan. But this playoffs, he has proven himself.
Teddy.
Wow. I'm really surprised by his answer.
Yeah, because two defensive players from the same team.
I'll go for AD. I'll go for Anthony Davis because you see, for a traditional center to give you like 30 or 25 in a game and also give you blocks, give you rebounds, it's very rare. And you see, I have some stats here. Defensive rebounds, he's first. Blocks, he's first. Contested field goals, he's first. And then altered shots, he's first in this position.
It is literally the defensive anchor for the Lakers.
And he's big even when he's not even performing
On the offensive end.
offensive wise. And you can't sleep on someone like that. But with his answer comparing, wow, I'm really surprised. I'm really shook.
You know, for the defensive players, they are both Celtics fans, so I thought maybe they will be going Robert Williams, Jason Tatum, but I'd be like, Sixers, Charlie, will they take you? Then winner. Like by this time, Robert Williams, JT, but yeah, they are better. They are very, very good defenders in there. We've already heard of Kevin Looney, Draymond Green, Anthony Davis. We can put in there Jaren Jackson, who just won the Defensive Player of the Year, which even AD bodied. So maybe Anthony Davis is truly the best defender in the league. Now, finally, before we leave, Game 4, Nuggets versus Suns.
Charlie, shout out to the KD sexuals, Charlie. They enjoy. But you see, one of the, I think, unfortunate but fortunate adjustment for the Suns is CP out. Chris Paul being out. You see, now Chris Paul being out is now the Booker has to take the ball from the defensive line into the offensive, and he has the freedom to do whatever he wants. And KD also has the same opportunity to
so what did they try to tell the Suns fans? Say they play better without Chris Paul on the floor?
Stats don't lie. They are doing it without him.
So they've won 2 games
without him. And arguably, I'm not saying Chris Paul is big. Chris Paul is big. But then it's like without him being in the game, they are less restricted. It's like now you don't wait to be passed to do whatever you want to do. You take the ball, take charge, because they don't really have, their role players are not really good. They don't have a really good bench. And so everything is dependent on, can KD be big?
Yeah, can Booker be big? Really score?
Yes. So they take charge, they ask for the ball, and they are doing what they are supposed to do. And that was what made them win.
Durant and Co have turned things around. Now, Nikola Jokic got into a bit of trouble. He scored over 50 points in Game 4, but they still managed to lose. And there's something hovering over his head where he pushed the Suns owner. And he might be suspended for Game 5. If they go back to Mile High without Nikola Jokic, do the Nuggets stand a chance against the Suns?
I mean, without the two-time reigning MVP, no, they don't stand a chance. And Booker is shooting over 78%.
That's mad.
That's absurd. He shot 14 for 18. I mean, nobody does this. Even KD doesn't do this.
It's not even done.
You know, and I mean, for Game 4, we are talking about it, but I think Shamet did so well. He went for 19 points from the bench, and we've been talking about the Suns bench for a long time.
They haven't been getting everything.
They've done so well. But going back to the Suns again, KD and Booker, they've been so important to the team. And Booker has showed why he's one of the best players in the postseason in the NBA.
You say he with a true light skin.
He with a true light skin.
No, be one guy.
Retire you.
He is. I mean, he has been legendary. He has Kobe. He has. So I think Kobe wrote something on one of his jerseys. So he has a sign. He's a true
Kobe fan.
Kobe guy. So he's been so big for them, and I think KD too has done so well. He's making the shots. He's taking shots. He's contesting shots. He's on the defense. He's on the defense because he knows that he has a lot to lose if they don't go. Because just last season they were swept, and there's a lot of buzz going on. This KD the guy, is KD the guy, and we've seen him step up, especially in Game 4. So
without Chris Paul, we thought the Suns will struggle a bit. But it seems like when Cameron Payne came into the starting lineup, the one thing you notice is the Suns are playing a little bit more faster. We know in the playoffs, everything processes in the half court where Chris Paul likes to take his time, generate offense for other shooters. But this time around, Cameron Payne is quick, so he likes to get into the transition quicker. So maybe that adjustment for Monty Williams is the factor for the Phoenix Suns getting the victory over the Nuggets, and they'll be going back to Mile High with a lot of confidence. That was what happened within the past few days in the NBA playoffs. We brought you all the analysis today. I did this with Teddy and Felix, doing all the breakdown for the NBA playoffs. Catch us. We will be back next time with more agenda. Next time we go see the garden if you go to garden. We'll be coming back with more heat from the NBA playoffs. My name is Slimo. See you some other time.